This is Hectic's accounting suite. It's where you can see your invoices, other payments and income, expenses, vendors, and profit and loss. You can set up regular invoices or also recurring invoices. So if you do the same work over and over and over again and are tracking your projects or have a retainer set up, you can set up a recurring invoice so that you don't have to think about sending your invoices every month. You can set these invoices up to send automatically, or you can have them here for your approval. You'll get a notification in your sidebar so that you can see the invoice, make sure it's been created correctly, and then quickly hit send. Set up this recurrence based on the interval that you would like to send. Set up a start and end date optionally. You can also set up how you would like your clients to see your hours. If you are tracking time and you want to show your clients a daily, weekly, monthly, or total hourly breakdown, you can also opt to include billable hours and billable projects, or one or neither. That's your recurring invoices. When it comes to a regular invoice, that is just as easy to click and create. You'll create a new invoice and you can add a new line item. If you don't want to use Hectic's project management system, you have access to your personal product and service library. You'll create these. So you'll hit create new, and in here, you'll add a name for your product or service, the unit, or you can choose build by hour, and the rate that you will charge for that product or service. Then every time you want to add that item to an invoice, it is already here in your product and service library. It is set up based on the price that you set. So if you have a fixed price session, you can add in this strategy session. You'll add just one of those, and there's your fixed price. If you're writing something like a blog, you can add a blog here and then calculate how many words that blog is. Hectic will do the math for you. If you are using Hectic's project management system or you bill by hour, you'll use add tracked hours or billable projects. No matter how you bill, whether that's hourly, on a fixed rate, or on a retainer, or a combination, anything that hasn't been billed yet on an invoice will show up here that you can add to an invoice. So here you can see this was billed by hour, and here are the times that we've worked. So you can take these times, drill down by week or even by day, and select which ones you want to add to this invoice. Here we have a fixed rate project, and you can see this is how much is still owed on that project. Here is another fixed rate project, but we've already invoiced for some of that. Hectic will keep track of that for you so you don't double invoice for a project. If you have a retainer, these retainers will show up in here as well. If you have chosen to do an advance payment or an arrears payment, you can see which retainers have not been paid yet. And this is per item pricing. That means you've set your pricing per deliverable. If you want to find out more about how to set all of these up, you can always find out how to do more using the blue question mark that is here in the corner. That's where you can find articles and also our knowledge base, and you can chat with us anytime you have questions. So that's how you add tracked hours or billable projects. If you have used Hectic's expenses, which we'll get to in just a second, and you have one that's reimbursable, you will see this add reimbursable expense. And here are the expenses that have yet to be added to an invoice. If you have gotten a deposit and it's been paid, you can choose to apply a deposit credit, any amount that you would like, or you can apply it to a different invoice. As long as you have a paid deposit, you'll see this apply deposit credit button on your invoice. That's Hectic's invoicing. When it comes to other payments and income, you can see the payment type when you've received payments. This is also where you can track other income. If you have income outside of an invoice, simply click the plus button and choose other income in order to track whatever income you've gotten that isn't part of a Hectic invoice. Here is expenses. Similar to invoices, you can set up automatic recurring expenses. So if you have an annual membership to something or a monthly membership that you need to pay, simply click on the plus sign to set up a recurring expense. In these recurring expenses, you'll set up when they start, if they have an end date, how much it is per month, and then add in each of the categories so that you can later become your accountant's favorite client. If this is reimbursable, you can assign it to a client, even a project, and check the reimbursable box. That will add it as an option for invoices. If it's not reimbursable, you just uncheck that box. You can also add just a single expense. Add in whatever the amount is, add your description, make sure you pick the correct category. You can update the date that you've paid, and if you haven't paid it yet, assign it to a client. Or if it's not assigned to a client, you can still just add an attachment with your receipt. If you're using a vendor that you use often, you can also add to your vendors here and leave yourself and your accountant any notes. Now you've got your single expense. When it comes to vendors, if there is someone that you work with over and over, you can do that by simply adding a vendor, and then you can track how much has been charged to each vendor. You can see these are expenses that are per vendor, but they haven't been paid yet. You can track your vendors' 1099s here and keep all of their related information in one place. We also have a profit and loss. You can set up exactly the amount of time that you need to see and download this profit and loss that includes your expenses and all of your income for your own records to decide whether or not your business is as profitable as you thought, or download an Excel doc and hand it off to your accountant.